All right, my friends, welcome back. It is December 30th, 2025. How has this year been for you? I've heard so many people say that it was a terrible year, but I can't imagine that everyone would be able to say that. Nevertheless, whenever we close out a year, we begin to think of ways that we can improve things going into the next. We begin to think of what have we put off for so long? What have we neglected that we really need to give our undivided attention to? And so a lot of these resolutions revolve around fitness and diet, don't they? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 pointers that I know will make a big difference in your life. But I've also made them very easy. These are things that anyone can do right away and doesn't require a huge sacrifice. And I think that when you begin to resolve to make changes in your life, you have to make them attainable, otherwise they won't stick. We all know that because when people join the gym, right, they join these gyms and then they show up, and within the first 3 weeks of January, everybody has fallen off the wagon, right? So you have to make them attainable. And I'm going to tell you something. None of these pointers I'm about to give you have anything to do with diet, okay? Have nothing to do with fitness, but it does have to do with your well-being. And I think that, I could give you a lot of other things, but generally people only remember or care to hear about 3 things in a video because that's all they have the attention span for. So I've chosen these 3 things because I think they're probably some of the most helpful. And mind you, these are not things that I've heard somebody else say. I'm not pulling them from the ether. That I actually believe in these, okay? So this is sort of a testimonial. These are things from my own experience that I think will help you. So let's get started. By the way, it is 48 degrees here right now, and it's 8:50 p.m. Overnight, it's supposed to get down to 34. This is Central Florida, mind you. So we have a nice little cold snap. We're going to enjoy it while we can. All right, let me turn this camera around, give you something else to look at while I talk to you about these 3 things. So number 1 is slow your pace down. I recently got a new job, and in the interview, I was asked, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be? I wasn't really prepared for that question, but I gave what I believe was an honest answer. I said I would tell myself to slow down. You don't need to be in such a hurry. I've gotten to the point in life where I realized that all the hurrying that I've ever done really hasn't helped me much. I wouldn't say it's always hurt me, but it certainly hasn't helped me. And I could have been benefited by just slowing my pace. Older people know this. In fact, the longest living people in the world know this. They are never in a hurry. And this is something I've become more conscious of as time has gone on. I look back over time and realize that I've hurried to grow up. I've hurried to fall in love. I've hurried to prove that I was worthy of love. I've hurried to get a good job, a good career. I've hurried to be a good father and husband, and employee. Every rookie does this. They move in haste, but they lose the details. They miss the good stuff. In videography, you have what you call motion blur. It can be added to your footage. It's meant to give the effect that you're moving faster than what you are. And it's somewhat pleasing to the eye, so some people think. I'm not necessarily a big fan, but a lot of people are. You see, hurrying makes us feel like we're doing something, we're getting somewhere. But I'll tell you what, if you feel like you can trust me, hear me out on this. You're missing the details. Hurry creates so much anxiety. It alters people's perception of you because you look desperate, and you move less efficiently, and you have to end up going back over things time and again to get them correct. When you move slowly, you move efficiently, you move smoothly, and things begin to work out a lot better. Life becomes a lot more peaceful. So going into 2025, slow your pace. Number 2 is look for an opportunity every day to do someone a favor. Now, you may not be able to do that every day, but what I'm saying is look for the opportunity. You may have never thought about it in these words before, but here's why I say this. Here is a quote by Carl Menninger, founder of the Menninger Institute, very famous psychiatrist from a long time ago, and author of my favorite book called Man Against Himself. Here's what he said. Now listen carefully, turn it up if you need to, but really get a hold of this. He said, self-love is not opposed to the love of other people. You cannot really love yourself and do yourself a favor without doing other people a favor, and vice versa. I guarantee you there's a great number of people who are saying, in the year 2026, I'm going to focus on loving myself more. And I always wonder, what does that look like? And I would bank on a lot of people saying, well, it's about putting me first. It's about putting me first and not being taken advantage of anymore. But this really works against us in many cases. Now, not everybody would define it that way, but you can't love yourself unless you love others. And one of the best ways you can do that is look for a way to do others a favor. It's a win-win situation. You show that you care about your fellow man, and you feel good about that. They feel good about that. And it just makes for a better life all the way around. So look for an opportunity every day to do someone a favor. Now, number 3 is going to sound a little strange at first, but just bear with me. Every morning when you wake up, before your feet hit the floor, say to yourself, whether silently or out loud, this is why I get up every day. This is why I do what I do. I'm sure a bunch of questions just pop into your mind right then. You might even be thinking to yourself, does Greg even know what he's talking about? I can assure you that I practice this on a daily basis. I haven't always done it, but over the past couple of years, I've really worked on it, and I'll tell you what it's done for me. It fills me with a sense of enthusiasm, almost in a magical way. It gives me the impression that I'm on a mission, that I'm an important part of the machine, that I'm counted on in the process, and I do make a difference. You see, I think a lot of people hate getting up every day. They don't like their jobs, they don't like their families, they're questioning their friends, they're questioning every decision that they've made. They don't feel like they've lived life right, and that they don't count, and that they would not be missed if something was to happen. And I don't think you have to know what the explanation is behind the statements that I've given you, because it's not asking why you get up. It's not asking why you do what you do. It's making a declaration. And what your mind begins to do is it looks for things to attach to those statements to make sense of them. And when that happens, and you'll know it when it happens, when it does, you're going to be able to see things more clearly and appreciate where you are and realize that your purpose has been in front of you the whole entire time. And so that's why I'm giving it to you. I don't tell everybody this. I don't think I've even brought it up before. But here you have it now. All right, guys, I hope these 3 things that I've given you have helped. I told you at the beginning that it doesn't require any sacrifice on your part. It's very simple, very attainable, and if you start doing them right away, I can almost guarantee you that you're gonna see and feel a difference in the way you live your life, and a difference in the way you take your steps. Some of the questions that you've had in your mind will start to clear themselves up, and you'll start feeling better about things. Like I said, it's almost magical, but it's really not. It's psychological, and it's reframing things in a very positive way. And like I said, I do these things, and it makes a difference to me, so I pass it on to you. I ask you to share this video with anybody else that you think could benefit from it. All right? So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me all the way through. I hope you guys have a very happy New Year. Maybe I'll be able to get another video out before the clock strikes 12. But if I don't see you before then, I wish you all the best. All right. In the meantime, be wise.